I don't know what the heck is happening over at Bungie, but it's an absolute dumpster fire. I normally don't cover Bungie or Destiny 2 news at all, and this isn't scripted. This is just off the top of my dome with the resources that I have. But y'all remember back in July, the Sony deal, you know, the $3.7 billion, almost $4 billion deal? Yeah, that doesn't seem to do anything. Consider Bungie just laid off a good amount of their employees. At the time this was happening on Twitter today, like I was out shopping, like I was on Twitter. I didn't even know this was happening until I got back home. But I'm just going to give you the rundown from what I see and then give you my thoughts. So first we have this tweet from Jason Schreier. He's a reporter at Bloomberg. So it says, Destiny 2 developer Bungie is the latest PlayStation studio to have layoffs. So that was the first red flag coming into this thing. And apparently there was some news coming out about it today. An hour later, he publishes an article about, confirming that the staff are being laid off and there's just job cuts across, PlayStation, Sony. And the company is also going to be potentially, quote unquote, more than likely, delaying the final shape until June of 2024 of next year and the marathon game until 2025. And this article has some validity because if you scroll down a little bit, you see that he talked to Bungie CEO Pete Parsons about this. And then other Destiny sources like Destiny Bulletin tweeted out that the Bungie jobs, a lot of job positions were removed and now they're looking for specific positions. Now, the main reason this is extremely frustrating is that back in February, Bungie leadership even said, assured all the employees that the Sony deal would not result in layoffs or any type of restructuring of the company, which just obviously isn't true. If you're a fan of Destiny and a fan of Bungie and you know the people that work there, someone that you probably know got laid off today. Both community managers got laid off. Even the composer of the Destiny original soundtrack was laid off. Like this is just complete insanity. How do you expect to be a successful game or a company if you are laying off the people that, number one, interact directly with the community to get feedback about the game, and number two, are the biggest advocates for improving the gameplay experience? The math is not adding up. I'm a very analytical type person, so if a company gets $4 billion from another company, I kind of expect them to be like, hey, you have some great projects going on. We're going to let you, get to them. We see money in the future for these things. Like, I understand companies need to make a profit, but this is not the way to run a business. I already said this on Twitter, but I'll say it again. My thoughts and prayers to the people who are laid off by Bungie. I hope you find another opportunity soon. I know what it's like to be let go, especially for a monetary type reason like this. It also doesn't help because the response from the CEO was just like so tone deaf, man. Like, I'll put it up on screen here, but it is not a good look, man. As frustrated as I am that final shape is delayed, I completely understand, but that doesn't mean that you completely just started putting the final nails in the coffin on your game, Bungie. As someone who has been a Destiny player since Destiny 1 and has been making content since Rise of Iron, this is extremely concerning for me. I talked about this before in a stream, but I think there's like a really good balance for me between, wanting to play the game, create content around the game, and also help people in the game. Like we've done raid carries, dungeon carries, GMs and stuff like that. And we've done plenty of those across the board for people, and a lot of creators do the same thing as well. But if we're gonna hit this drought again of not having any content right when my interest falls out for the game and there's other games that I want to play, play with friends, make content around, I'm going to opt to play those games. As most of you have seen, I have dived into Cyberpunk. I had like over 350 hours of just playing Cyberpunk before I even started creating content on it, and that has been extremely successful here on the channel. There needs to be this mix of, having interest in the game, being able to create unique and interesting content around the game, on top of being able to help people. And when people aren't playing the game, there's not as many people to help. When there's no content to make around the game, you don't want to play it. And when it's not interesting and nothing's going on, people don't want to play it. Like I said, there's no script. Everything's just off the top of my head. The main takeaways are Sony as a company is extremely scummy. And I also just saw something on Twitter about the reason they're doing this is to make, their Q2 next year look really good for their shareholders or some BS. If that turns out to be true and that's the reason they're firing these people, that is extremely scummy. And number two, the main focus is that some really good employees got laid off today that should not have. And I hope that they find something soon at a better company. That being said, I'm still going to be playing Destiny 2, maybe not as much. I'm still going to create content around Destiny 2 in general. You know, in the beginning of the seasons, there are a lot of good builds that I really enjoy making, but maybe you won't be seeing as much of it. I've always been an advocate for being a variety creator, a variety streamer. I think people should really do it, because if you play one game and the game dies, like, you know, the current situation at hand, if it really falls off, then you're going to have a problem with your content, your business. That's what this is, essentially. I won't do all the outro plugs, but if you like the video, like the video. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe. If you want to tune in the live streams here on YouTube, go for it. If you want to become a member, the join button with all the information is right there. Check it out. If not, we'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.
They ain't exactly discreet.
We trust Eris to get this done.
Huh, you really think so? You might want to check your comms, because that's not what I'm hearing.